We ultimately just probably went through our most traumatic time as chicken owners these last couple weeks. Owning chickens for the past 4 years, we have never dealt with something like this, and hopefully this is something that never happens again. Now we got to figure out what are we gonna do from here and how are we gonna fix this. We just went through our most traumatizing time that we've probably ever had while having chickens. And this was multiple days, 2 different days of coming out and finding almost at least 4 dead chickens each day, to the point that we basically lost a whole flock of chickens. And the worst part about all of this was our dog was the one that ended up killing all of our chickens. As disappointed as we were about the whole situation, and that our Great Pyrenees, Milo, who we would love to be a efficient part of this farm, but the comments that we started getting in on the video and the negativity really started flowing in, and it made me start questioning about the whole situation. We're used to YouTube and negative comments and people posting wild things, and we knew when we did this there was going to be a lot of comments talking about rehoming him in a spot that doesn't have chickens. Rehoming him because once he gets the taste of chicken, that's all he's ever going to want to do. And those comments I kind of knew were going to happen, but the ones that were kind of scaring me, that sometimes were so far off what we actually should be doing, is the comments that started talking about putting him down and shooting him and, oh, like, you know what to do, like, time to get rid of him. Like, oh, I would never allow that to happen. And it really started making me question about why we're so willing to just get rid of instead of try to rework and try to retrain. Luckily, we put a post out and I did a voting thing, putting all the different options. And it seemed like from that point of view, there was a lot of people that said either to just keep him separated from the chickens or try to retrain him. Rehoming and putting down were the last 2 things on the list. That was good to see, because sometimes the comments can really start to stand out themselves, and I was feeling like most people were on those 2 voting options, and it didn't seem like that was true actually for most viewers. But now we are at the point that we need to figure out, what do we do from here? We did train him when we first ever brought chickens onto our farm to be around them, to realize what they are and to not chase them, and it seemed like it worked out really well. But we have to self-reflect in this moment. We're not afraid to show you guys behind the scenes and reflect on why we feel like this is more on us than it ever was on him. So if we stop back and self-reflect on what we could have done better for our dog in this situation, is first off, I just want you guys to know chickens have their own run, and our dog is on this side of the fence and our chickens are on this side of the fence. So he doesn't live with our chickens and is not a livestock guardian dog in the sense where like he is in the run with them at all times. So this is not something that he is used to and does all the time. We just wanted to adjust him to chickens when we first had him at an early age, so that whenever a chicken would possibly break out, that he wouldn't want to go after it. It was never something that he was actually going to like live with them. He's an indoor and outdoor dog. This is something that we know that we failed with him at his young age, but that's where he's at now. He doesn't live 24/7 outside. If we move to a different property, we thought about maybe trying that or getting another dog that does do that. But his main purpose is to be the protector of our surrounding area and be there for just the presence and the scent that he gives off to help protect all these chickens and our goats and our pigs. It's not something where he actually is inside the runs or the pens of these animals. So that's one of the first things that I can step back and look at and say, maybe that's where we went wrong. The second thing is, how did he get in there in the first place if we've had them separated? We have this gate right here that doesn't really have a real lock. We use one of these posts and we just stick it behind this gate so that he can't push it and get to the other side. Being human, we can be forgetful or lazy. If I am to take this post out and then I forget to put it back into place, which has definitely happened, he is going to be able to push that open and be able to get in there. And unfortunately, That's how he got in there both the 2 times. And yes, I wish I would have learned the first time and it didn't happen just a day after, 24 hours basically after it happened the first time, and we would still have half of our flock. So what we're gonna do is I have him on the leash. We're just walking around the chicken run, and I'm just trying to get him used to just being around the chickens again like this. And I know because I'm here and he's on a leash, he's gonna be doing a lot better. But these are ways that we can just get him back to being used to being in the chicken run when he is in here. And as you guys saw, he doesn't live in the chicken run. His goal and main purpose is to protect more our surroundings than he is just to live with the chickens. And our plan is just to get him used to the chickens again, so that if a chicken was to jump over a fence and escape, that he's not gonna try to attack it and run at it. And we believe with being around the chickens every once in a while like this with us, and we also do have the shock collar, which does work for him, and we never even have to use the shock feature. Just using the sound feature really bothers him. Every time we feel like he is getting close to wanting to run towards a chicken or anything like that, then we're just going to do a quick little noise or a buzz to him to kind of aware him that no, he doesn't do that. And we believe that it'll at least just level him back out. He was never really a big attacker of the chickens. You ready to go back? Come on, let's go. Come on. All right, good job. Good job with the chickens. So there's definitely a lot of things that we could have done better in this situation and ways that we could have prevented this from happening. And we've never been afraid to take ownership for our own mistakes. And people are so quick to want to blame something else, blame anything that doesn't put any responsibility on them. And I think that's where a lot of those comments were coming through. One, you didn't understand the background. Maybe you didn't understand that he doesn't live with the chickens 24/7. You don't know his training background. But I think ultimately that's where we are as a society sometimes, is that we don't think about where people's backgrounds are, things they've been through. And this is what we need to look into before we just judge and before we make quick rationale of what we should do in what scenario. And ultimately, like I said, I think a big percentage of this stuff falls on us and it's our fault. There was some theories out there about maybe a fox did this, or maybe a different animal or predator got these chickens, and then maybe he just came in and got the feathers and blood on him from him expecting the chickens. And I would love to think that's true, but I don't believe it. I do think that our dog is the one that did this. Even if we didn't see, we have seen him chase our white splash brand chickens before, and it's not something that would be new to us or would surprise us, and that's why ultimately that we know that he did it. And that was another theory, by the way, is that a few people commented, maybe this is happening, that they've seen other YouTubers or people that have posted about that for some reason, that going after white chickens for some reason. And that is something that has been a correlation with him. He doesn't seem to chase the other chickens really, but he does go after those white chickens, our Splash Morans, really bad. So it is something that we're gonna keep an eye on and try to figure out how we can try to solve that. But there must be something visually maybe that he just sees with them that makes him have that hunting and that prey kind of thing. We just wish that it'd go better. And we're going to have to try to retrain him around the chickens a little bit here and there, just so he gets used to it. So ultimately, we need to remember to have a little grace in these scenarios. Grace for our dog and how this happened, but also we do still have that feeling for our chickens and the way that they went. And that is not a good way for any animal to be killed, tortured. And ultimately, as you can see, as we walked around with our dog, they are still obviously really afraid of them, understandably so. But this is something that we need to make sure we don't forget. As we live this life, we need to not jump to conclusions. We need to not hurry up to like kill or get rid of or banish. There are ways, man, imagine if that happened to us for every mistake that we ever made. We would be in trouble almost every single day, right? So have a little grace in these scenarios and be understanding, ask questions, And I do think that ultimately we're going to end up keeping them separated as we have. We just got to be a little better here ourselves and make sure that they stay separated, but also still kind of understand and train that relationship back, where if one of these guys are to hop the fence, that he's not going to chase and want to kill them. We'll keep an eye on our white chickens especially. Ultimately, I was just a little shocked when I saw all those comments just about killing and rehoming so fast, and just not wanting to maybe put the work in and the effort in to try to retrain and get back. And I think that we're going to be able to get there, and I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, so I'm not going to say that it's going to work out perfect, but ultimately we're going to give it a try here on our farm while we feel like we have the capability and compassion to work with them. So we thank you guys always for watching. Have a great day and a better tomorrow, and God bless you guys. We are justified by His grace as a gift through the redemption that is in Christ Jesus.